It was supposed to be one of The Tonight Show's most joyful reunions, a night filled with laughter, stories, and music between two of America's favorite entertainers. Kelly Clarkson, host, singer, and all-around powerhouse, had stopped by Jimmy Fallon's show to promote her latest album Chemistry Reimagined and celebrate her Las Vegas residency. Producers promised an easygoing interview, filled with games, laughter, and even a surprise duet. But what began as a cheerful visit turned into one of the most shocking moments of late-night television when Kelly abruptly walked off the stage following a heated exchange that no one, least of all Jimmy, saw coming. The show began in classic Tonight Show fashion, Jimmy bouncing onto the stage with his signature grin, the crowd roaring, the band striking up a funky tune. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "our guest tonight, she's an Emmy winner, a Grammy winner, and one of the most genuine people on the planet, the amazing Kelly Clarkson." The audience erupted as Kelly appeared, radiant and smiling, waving to the crowd. She hugged Jimmy warmly before sitting down, laughing, "Oh Lord, it's been too long, Jimmy." The first part of the interview went smoothly. They reminisced about her early American Idol days, joked about their kids, and even teased each other about who had the more chaotic talk show. Kelly was relaxed, funny, and completely at ease, until the conversation unexpectedly shifted. "So Kelly," Jimmy began, holding a stack of cards, "you've been really open about your new album being inspired by some personal experiences. You've said it's your most honest record yet. Some people say it's your version of a breakup diary. Is that fair?" Kelly chuckled lightly but shifted in her seat. "I mean, I wouldn't call it a diary," she said. "It's more like art reflecting life, you know. Music helps me process things." Jimmy nodded but pressed, "Right, but the lyrics, some of them are pretty raw. Like that line in Chemistry's Gone. I gave you gold, you handed me goodbye. That's intense. Were you talking about your ex-husband there?" The air tightened. Kelly's smile faded a little. She looked down, then back at Jimmy. "That song isn't about one person," she said carefully. "It's about emotions, about growth. I've moved past that chapter." Jimmy, still smiling, glanced at his cue card and said, "Totally get that. But fans online have been connecting the dots, especially with that bridge, 'You wanted power, I wanted peace.' They say that's a pretty direct reference." Kelly's eyes narrowed just slightly, not in anger yet, but in warning. "Jimmy," she said with a polite laugh, "you know I love you, but I'm not here to relive my divorce. That's not why I made the album." The crowd gave a soft, uneasy laugh. Sensing tension, Jimmy tried to pivot with humor. "Hey, no shade, I'm just asking what everyone's wondering." But the attempt fell flat. Kelly leaned back, folding her arms. "Well, maybe everyone should just listen to the songs without trying to turn them into gossip columns," she said, her tone sharper now. The audience went quiet. Jimmy, perhaps realizing he'd hit a nerve, laughed awkwardly and said, "You know me, Kel, I'm just playing around." "We love you." Kelly smiled tightly. "I know, Jimmy, but sometimes playing around crosses into prying," she said. "There's a difference." There was a pause, long enough that even the band didn't try to fill it. The tension was thick, the air electric. Jimmy tried to recover, glancing to his producers off stage, but he made the mistake of pushing one step further. "Fair enough," he said, "but come on, you've made a career out of honesty. Your fans adore that you wear your heart on your sleeve." Kelly's expression changed. Gone was the stage smile. Her voice dropped, calm but unmistakably angry. "Honesty isn't the same as having to explain yourself over and over again," she said. "Being real doesn't mean being dissected." The audience gasped lightly, unsure whether to laugh or clap. Jimmy's smile faltered for the first time that night. "Whoa, okay," he said softly. "Didn't mean to upset you." Kelly gave a small, tight nod. "You didn't upset me. I'm just done talking about that. Every time I come on a show, it's the same thing, the divorce, the pain, the songs. How about we talk about the joy, the music, the work?" Her voice had risen slightly, and now even Jimmy looked rattled. "Absolutely," he said quickly, trying to smooth things over. "Let's talk about the tour." But Kelly interrupted, shaking her head. "No, it's fine," she said, unclipping her mic. "You know what, Jimmy? Let's just skip it tonight. I'm not doing this." The studio audience collectively gasped. Jimmy blinked in confusion. Kelly. Wait, come on, But Kelly had already stood up. I love you, Jimmy, I really do, she said, her tone softer now but firm. But I'm not going to sit here and have my life turned into clickbait again. The crowd was dead silent as she walked off stage, her heels clicking against the polished floor. Jimmy stood up halfway, clearly unsure what to do. Kelly. Wait, he called out, but she didn't turn back. The camera quickly cut to a wide shot, the band trying to play something light to fill the awkward silence. Jimmy, visibly thrown, finally turned back to the camera with a forced grin. Well, he said, looks like I asked one question too many, huh? The audience gave a nervous laugh as the show cut abruptly to commercial. Behind the scenes, chaos erupted. Producers scrambled, arguing about how much of the exchange could be salvaged for broadcast. Jimmy reportedly went backstage during the break to apologize, but Kelly had already left the studio. One crew member claimed she was calm but clearly fed up, saying only, I'm done explaining myself to people who already decided what my story is. Within hours, the internet was ablaze. The clip, though partially edited before airing, leaked in its raw form online, racking up millions of views. Hashtags like #KellyWalksOff, #TeamKelly, and #FallonFails began trending almost immediately. Fans defended Kelly fiercely, praising her for standing her ground and calling out the constant media obsession with her personal life. Others accused her of overreacting and being too sensitive for show business. NBC released a brief statement later that night calling it an unfortunate misunderstanding. Jimmy Fallon, in a tweet that same evening, wrote, I have the utmost respect for Kelly Clarkson, she's an incredible artist and friend. Live TV can get messy sometimes. No hard feelings at all. Kelly, however, remained silent for several days. When she finally spoke, it was during her own talk show, where she addressed the situation indirectly. Sometimes, she said with a knowing smile, you have to walk away from conversations that stop being about truth and start being about spectacle. And with that, the audience erupted in applause.